Woo! Yo, we got my boy out here. Guys, we made it. We have officially started one of the most beautiful, my favorite times of the year, which is spring. Ancient cultures around the world celebrated this day because it was the rebirth of life. And these ancient cultures are thousands of years old. And the prime example that I can give is the Persian culture. Persian, you can tell by the beard, the eyebrows, and all that good stuff. And then we're here, look at this. We're here with our homies. Oh, they went away. They ain't about that spring life. Spring is one of the most powerful times in astrology for a reason. Because it is in the spring wherein life is reborn. Everything is reborn. Let me fix my ascot real quick. Make sure it's good. Shout out to Dean Davis in the chat. Spring is one of the most powerful, potent times in astrology because it is when all of life is reborn. We have gone through the depths of winter and not only survived, but thrived and conquered death. That's symbolically when the sun goes into Capricorn and we start off Capricorn season, that is the sun at its lowest point. It is the opposite of when the sun is in Cancer, wherein the sun is at its highest point. Now in Capricorn, we have sun at its lowest point, where essentially life begins to die just so it can be reborn. Swerve! And do you feel it? Do you feel it in the air today? It's a fundamental shift. We went from this foggy, super spiritual energy to this clarity, this fire, this zest for life. I certainly feel that way today. And I'm pretty excited for spring. Now, why is spring the most important part of... Why is it the most important time in astrology? Spring represents, and Aries energy in general represents birth. Okay? It is the blush of innocence. Right? It is our first instinct. Our natural response to any given situation. And innocence is a very potent spiritual subject because as we grow older, we tend to disconnect from that pure and natural innocence that is inherent in every single one of us. And when we tap into that innocence, we become like children, right? Wasn't it not Jesus who said, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven unless you become as little children? And I think there's a teaching in that, and that teaching has to do with our innocence. This part of us that is fearless and it's not scared. It has the courage to do what it wishes. If it wants to cry, it cries. If it wants to play, it plays. If it wants to be happy, it does. If it wants to ignore, it ignores. And that's the beauty and power of Aries energy, right? There's nothing can touch that innocent childlike nature within us. But as we get older, what ends up happening is the trolls and the naysayers and the haters and maybe even family. Okay, unfortunately, this is the case for some people, right? Maybe even our own family of origin begins to instill in us doubts and fears and things that are not part of that innocent, that courageous, childlike nature that all of us carry within ourselves. And we end up succumbing to fear, to doubt, to the slaves of belief, certain beliefs and perspectives that we have that just hold us back from shining our true, pure light. This is why Aries season and the spring is the most powerful time in astrology, because it represents that instinctual impulse in all of us, that innocence, which knows no fear, knows no guile, and moves forward towards the direction of his or her dreams and accomplishes that which it instinctually knows is theirs, right? Aries is such an entrepreneurial sign as well. This is why some of the most successful, wealthiest millionaires, billionaires have Aries very strongly positioned in their chart. Because in order to be an entrepreneur, you need to be bold. You need to take risks. You need to shine your light, put yourself out there. And you can't do that if you're scared, if you're afraid what other people might think. People are going to say what they're going to say. But it is up to you to maintain purity and innocence. Now, Aries can be a sign, and it is a sign that is associated with war, right? Aries was the god of war. And being that Aries was the god of war, there's a reason behind this as well, because Aries fights for individuality. This fighting for individuality, because it knows that the inner child within is pure. And it allows that inner child to speak. But here's the thing. Now, here's the downside to Aries energy. Okay, I know it's the most powerful time of the year, but it represents that primordial fire that is within us all. That innocence, that courage, that light, that fire. But this is just the beginning of the zodiac, right? Yesterday we were at 29 degrees Pisces. We were at the end of the zodiac. We finished everything we set out to do when the sun was in 0 degrees Aries of last year. And I hope you guys made your goals. You guys sat down and meditated on a word. I certainly got my word. Maybe one day I'll share it with you guys. Maybe when we get to 29 degrees Pisces of this solar year. But this is just the beginning. This is the beginning of this brand new chapter in the world, in nature, in life. It might be the same tree, but it has undergone this process of birth, decay, death, and following rebirth. It's still the same tree, but maybe this year it blooms more. There's more beauty to it, more beauty, more flowers. But it still is the beginning. And I think this is what's important. The most important takeaway when it comes to Aries season is that it is just the beginning. And that's a powerful time indeed. The beginning is when the least mistakes occur. Right? When you get to the middle and the end, maybe you've already built the structure and you see the flaws, where in the beginning you should have done certain things, laid different bricks for the foundation. Aries is a fundamental zodiac sign for laying the foundation for the year ahead, the journey ahead, the hero's journey, wherein the new goals that we set out to do, we begin. But today is the day where you create them, right? Yesterday was the most potent, in my opinion. That 29 degrees Neptune, Neptune Sun conjunction in Pisces, that was potent. The most potent time to dream, to envision, to imagine. And that's actually when I got my word for the year. And today was the new chapter. Today was chapter 1 of an entirely new book. And whatever that book is, the title of that book is your goal or your word or your mantra for this solar year ahead. This is why Aries is and spring is the most powerful time in astrology, because it represents the field of infinite potential, 0 point, the 0th degree of the first sign of the zodiac. Such is the power of spring in Aries season. I'm pretty excited, guys. I don't know. I feel it in the air. I'm ready to party. I'm ready to celebrate. I'm ready to enjoy. This is a brand new year. And, we're friends here. So I'll be open with certain things in regards to how I approached today. I started a new journal. And this new journal was based on that word that I received for the year. I don't like to share goals especially if they're like super early. Like if it's just something that I come up with or something that I aspire to do, I usually like to keep silent until there's momentum built behind it, until there's visible manifestations. But for all my day ones out there, the people who have been following me, that word will be revealed sometime through this year as we inevitably are one with the sun. I'm Kian the One. And today, the sun shines at 0 degrees Aries, the beginning of beginnings. If 29 degrees Pisces was the ending of endings, 0 degrees Aries is the absolute beginning. 0 ground, the field of infinite possibilities and potential. So what will you do with it? I wrote out my goals. I envisioned what I wish to create, how I wish to mold myself, recreate myself through this upcoming solar year. One of my favorite ways to do that is by journaling. It helps me get my thoughts down onto paper. I mean, we do have Jupiter in Gemini right now, which is tremendous. One of the downloads that I received for Jupiter in Gemini, which is going to last all the way until the first week of June, was to journal, to get thoughts from my head down on paper. And Jupiter is the king of the gods. Jupiter is the great expander, the great benefic. It bestows big blessings, big opportunities, and big luck. And in Gemini, it has to do with our thoughts, our words, what we exchange with others, social media, our associates, education, like courses that you might take. And being that the sun is about to form a harmonious aspect through Aries season with Jupiter in Gemini, this is going to be a fantastic time to have this great expanding power of the mind line up with the goals that we are here to create, that we're here to produce. And guys, this is natural law. This is not this is ancient science, ancient knowledge. Of course, there has to be some interest for somebody to experience and study this esoteric field of knowledge, but if you do, you find that you are no longer going against the grain. You are one with all that is. And this is ancient knowledge. This is not something I'm preaching that is made up. This is knowledge that has been studied for thousands of years. And through it, we will and we can experience oneness with nature. We don't try to create spring when it's the dead of winter, right? We don't try to go out and get in a serious relationship when it's Venus retrograde. You can have somebody certainly come around and connect with you during this time. And through this connection, you might learn more about yourself. Doesn't mean you're going to get in a relationship with this person. Or maybe it might be the love of your life, but you won't know that until the end of Venus retrograde. And maybe this person might be the love of your life, and you might think that, but do they think the same about you? So when you understand astrology, when you study natural law, you no longer go against the grain. You don't try to make spring happen in the dead of winter. And I think that's a powerful thing. Because how many people in this world desire something that isn't rightfully theirs? And when they don't get it, they're super upset. But it's like, no, this wasn't meant to be right now. Maybe it was never meant to be. Maybe it wasn't meant to be for you. Maybe something even better is coming that you don't necessarily see. So don't insist with your intellect, with your imagination, which is so limited compared to the infinite wisdom and guidance and love of God, of the universe, of Source. This is the power of astrology. And this is the power of the new you. Right? Innocent. When we stick to our instincts, our deep gut instincts, we can't go wrong. And let's say, even if we do, okay? Even if we do, we learn. Maybe there was a lesson behind what you were meant to go through. But I digress. We are in Aries season. This is the most powerful time in astrology for a reason. And that is, we come back to self. Aries season is the season where you focus on you. Do you. And upon doing so, you increase your life force. You increase your confidence. Right? Aries is a pretty bold sign. It's a very confident sign for a reason. But you increase your confidence in Aries season because you focus and turn your light on yourself. And that's power, right? They say mastery. I think, who was it? I think it was Lao Tzu who said this. He said, mastery over others is strength, but mastery over self is true power. So take this Aries season to focus on yourself, because this is the beginning of beginnings. And when you do that, I promise you, your cup is going to be so full. You're going to feel so good about yourself. You're going to feel confident because you set out to do goals that are good for you. You chose yourself this season. And that's going to fill you up with confidence, boldness, a fire, and a passion for life. This is why spring is the most powerful time in astrology. I'm Kian the One, sending you guys infinite love and gratitude. And I wish you guys an incredible solar year ahead, filled with so much abundance, so much magic, and so much power. See you guys tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you guys are not already subscribed and have the bell notifications on, do so as I go live Sunday to Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we're going to start multi-streaming here shortly. Multiple channels, multiple ways. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Shout out to Alyssa. Big shout out, thank you. And shout out to Dean Davis. Thanks for being in the chat. You said Playboy Cardi. Yeah, you should listen to Playboy Cardi, Dean Davis. That album was pretty slick. Like, if you like Fiend, you're gonna love that. You're gonna love that. Anyways, I'll see you guys soon. I was going to say I'll send you something, but I don't know what I was going to say. Sending you guys love, and I'll see you tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, as we wrap up our week and officially start Aries season. Peace and love.